You'll find yourself on Locked On Bulls, a member of the Locked On Podcast Network. And on today's episode, me and Pat will be talking about the Bulls' upcoming matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. Also, the Bulls' cold shooting streak and what that could mean and how it's affecting the team, maybe even more than the lack of defense at certain times. We'll also be going into why this year is not a failed year for the franchise, no matter what happens. All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Pat, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. First up, the big thing that everybody's talking about, the Bulls versus the Bucks going down today. What do you think about this game, man? How can the Bulls fare? Do we see Patrick Williams going to the starting lineup? Do the Bulls finally be the top team? All these questions remain. These are always on the mouth and tips of the tongue of every Bulls fan in Bulls Nation. What do you think about it?
I mean, you for valid reason. It's been a while since we've beaten a team that's been at the top at the beginning of the season. Boston wasn't at the top when we beat them. They've worked their way in, so I guess they kind of count for us now. I don't know how that works. You know what I'm saying? But you look at how you've played versus Miami. Two of the games really close. One game got away from you. And I think in that game that got away from you, you didn't do the things that we've asked you to do well. You have to, even in a losing effort, do the things that you did versus Miami, because those were the same things you did versus the Clippers. Those were the same things you did versus Washington. On the flip side, maybe knock down some shots. Milwaukee's going to come in with one of the better defenses in the NBA. We know that. They're going to play you tough. Drew Holiday's going to be a problem all night. I mean, you can look at a bunch of people on that team that can absolutely affect your game. And I don't know, does Milwaukee have anybody that they're calling a game time decision or out yet? Do we got the
Giannis
for it yet?
Giannis is actually game time decision as of right now.
Yeah, he'll play. He was a game time decision for us last time too. He might not play. He's in. Okay, all right. How much he got?
Well, the thing is, is that it's low. Milwaukee can't. I don't think can drop lower than fourth, and they may very well look at it like, hey, maybe we do rest Giannis because the teams that we could possibly face at 4 aren't a challenge for us.
I mean, maybe you might see that, but for me, even in that situation, right? Like you're still playing the NBA champions. Like I get a lot of people come into this with the, oh well, they're not gonna win it again, and they're not gonna. Who's gonna stop them?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like this is your NBA champion. Maybe Milwaukee, but they handled Milwaukee in 4 last year. I'm sorry, maybe Miami. They handled Miami in 4 last year, right?
4.
That ain't nothing changed on that Miami team. In fact, they got worse. Because Duncan Robinson can't shoot anymore. We don't know what that is. But this is a game to me where you have to go into it doing the things you did and find a way to make P. Will the focal point. I don't expect him to stop Giannis, but just make his life a little bit harder. And if you can do that, I mean, maybe you can pull out of this one. I'm playing the percentages on this. I mean, listen. The Bulls are 70% at home. Hopefully the home court advantage does mean something to this team. Let's see if they can pull another one out. I think that this is a game that you need to get. I think this is a game you have to get. I think for your confidence, it's a game you have to get. And, of course, just to stay out of that spot, if Cleveland loses one more game and we win, we are guaranteed not to be in a play-in. You do not want to find yourself in a play-in, especially with a Brooklyn Nets team in the play-in right now that is guaranteed to be in the play-in.
Yeah. I mean, the Bulls definitely we either need one more win or a Cleveland loss. One or the other solidifies us avoiding the play-in, which we do want. I think the Bulls are going to get another win throughout the rest of the season. I need to see them get at least 2 out of these last 4, ideally even more than that. But we'll talk about that another day. This game, the things that I'm going to be looking for in this game, period, are do the Bulls play with that type of heart that we saw before against the Clippers, right? Even if because Milwaukee's going to get out to a lead, right? If the Bulls lead through, I'm telling you right now, if the Bulls lead throughout this game and Milwaukee never has a lead, I'm buying an Alfonso McKinney jersey and I'm wearing it during the playoffs. That's not going to happen. I'm just like it's not going to happen.
Where
but
you going to find an Alfonso McKinney jersey?
I'll probably have to order a custom jersey, yeah, and then put his name on it. It's probably what I'd have to
get that one custom made, man.
For anybody who knows my hate of Alfonso McKinney, they'll understand how much that means. I must believe that there's no way the Bulls are going to lead throughout a game against Milwaukee. But with even that being said, can they play with that heart? Can they get back to being focused? Listen, they're not going to win every game. You're not going to win possibly a game against a team like Milwaukee. We may just not have enough, especially when we're missing Lonzo Ball. With all that said, though, I just want to see this team compete. That's been the biggest thing. I'm over predicting wins and losses throughout the rest of the season. I'm not doing that. I just want to see this team, whatever happens, finish this season strong, and play well. Does Kobe come out of his suit and slump? Does Alex at this point is hobbled as Alex Caruso has? I need to see Alex almost on a 10 to 12 minute restriction, because he has spurts of looking good, but then you start seeing him slow down and he stops doing some of the things that are very much Alex Caruso things. So the Bulls have so many things going on towards the end of this season that I just want to see them compete, man. That's it. I just want to see them play tough.
Well, I mean, I still want to see it. Listen, I still want to see him win, and you gotta play tough to win. You gotta do all of those things you said, but also, like, I mean, are we to the point now with Caruso, like you mentioned him, where, listen, I get it, appreciate the help, sit down,
yeah,
because I mean, like, honestly, like, is he helping on defense? Yes, but how much are you hurting yourself trying to go out there and do the extra mile for the team? I love that you're trying to do the extra mile for the team, but how much are you hurting yourself trying to put yourself out there for those extra minutes, playing that defensive level, playing that, you know what I'm saying? And to me, it just puts more importance on the guys to score the ball. Listen, Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, y'all have to score.
Yeah.
There's no other, y'all have to score. You have to give me 10 plus points a game. If you're not giving me 10 plus points a game, we're not going to win these games. And so to me, like, I think that this will be another game that is I want to say a closer game. Like you said, I'm above picking wins and losses, but I need to see more than just this team compete, because, like, competing can mean a lot of things. Competing can mean, hey, listen, we played you hard, but we lost. We did that last season. You know what I'm saying? I need to see that this team realizes the situation that it's in. And I feel like in the last few games they have more so. But I want to see that bounce back. Let's bounce back on it. Hey, listen, yeah, you took an L to Miami. Miami's the best team in the Eastern Conference. What can you do against them? I think that's gonna be key for this Bulls team. These wins are confidence wins. If you're not gonna gain your confidence now, you're not gonna gain confidence beating Minnesota and Charlotte. These are the wins you need if you plan on making any noise in the playoffs. Otherwise, you might be talking about the Bulls as a first round exit.
I mean, and the first round exit is looking more and more likely. Let's just be real. Can they do more than that? Absolutely. Especially if Lonzo comes back. If this team finds their defensive identity again, absolutely. This team, depending on who they matched up with, they can definitely get out of the first one. There's a possibility of that. You know, we had so many people in the comments like, "There's no chance. What does it matter who we face?" Like, all that pessimism, I'm so over when it comes to this fan base. Because at the end of the day, listen, this team has faced a lot. This season was never meant to be a championship year, which we'll talk about. You know what? I'm going to stop that because we talk about that a little bit in the last segment for the day. So I'm gonna cut that short. But at the end of all this, I want to see this team play hard. I want to see this team build in some good rhythm, some good routines. I want to see the young players on this team who are going to be on this team for a long time get that playoff experience, right? Yeah. Learn what that failure is like so that they can say, hey, we don't want to feel this shit again. So we don't want to feel this again. Let's tighten it up. Let's do better. And go into the offseason knowing, hey, we got a little sample of the playoffs, but I need more than that, right? Build up that hunger in this team. So yeah, I hope that that's what we get from this team in this offseason and what we get finishing out the season. Again, as I've been saying for a while, all playoff teams from now into the end of the season. So we need to see this team really come in and compete. But before we get into one of the things that's been affecting this Bulls team compete, I got to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. Are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. We love this, and we know you guys will too. It's easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over/under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entries, just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. PrizePicks is safe and offers fast withdrawals, and use the award-winning app that's available on both App Store and Google Play. PrizePicks offers you any prop you can think of, from points scored to rebounds, even steals. PrizePicks allows for mixed sports entries, and PrizePicks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options on college basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and much, much more. For a limited time, PrizePicks has an exclusive offer, a no-brainer offer at that, for all of our users. Users get $50 free, and if a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free. And if a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, you get the money. Listen, it all comes down to the green, baby. That's it. You get the money. All you got to do is use that. So that's it. Download the PrizePicks apps today. All right. Before we get into it, I got another ad for you guys. This one is for BetOnline. So, hey, listen. It's that time of year again. We know by the time you guys hear this, the NCAA finals tournament, it's over. It's over with. It happened. Was it NC? Was it Kansas? It's all going to be over by this. But
who won the game? Call it right now.
NC won the game.
By how much?
5.
We'll see tomorrow.
All right. From all the latest odds totals, player performance props, to where the next Fire head coach is going to land, BetOnline.com is the #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Head to the website today or use the mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Pat, one of the things that has been a very surprising trend is that the Bulls have went from #1 in three-point percentage to 24th in overall three-point percentage since the All-Star break. That is a huge drop to make in less than half the season. Everybody kind of talks about the All-Star break being halfway through the season. It's really 2/3 through the season. That type of fall in the three-point percentage, do you think that as much as we talk, and not to say the defense and other things don't have an effect, but that three-point percentage going so far from where it was, how do you think that's really impacted the Bulls' play and their inability to win games lately?
It's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, because teams are doing so much to stop Vooch from being Vooch. They're doing so much to stop DeMar from being in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing left but the three-point shot. And it's huge because, like, one, I mean, you expected some dip when Lonzo goes out, right? He was shooting 40%.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Like, we were never expecting Lonzo to be that guy, the sharpshooter like that, shooting at 40%. He's gone. You expect it to take a little bit of a dip. What you didn't expect was that the guys that you thought and saw hitting those shots earlier would be unable to hit those shots over a consistent stretch when teams are essentially saying, I'm more worried about the dude in the middle that can drop 50 on us anytime than you role players knocking down three-point shots.
Yeah.
We've seen Ayo Dosunmu, I believe his three-point percentage since the All-Star break is 26%. Kobe White is down bad right now. Those are the guys that are getting those looks. Javonte Green. It was Derrick Jones for a little while in there. Troy Brown. We know that experiment. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the guys that are getting those looks. And when they're willing to give you the open one, I mean, listen, every NBA player will tell you the toughest shot in the NBA is the open one. Because, like, there's so much pressure on you to knock it down because you're wide open. I can't see a way where this team, unless it figures out its shooting slump, picks it back up. Because teams have literally said, we will give you whatever you want out there. It's feast or famine. You will live by the 3 and die by the 3, and we expect you to die by the 3 based on the numbers right now. And it makes it hard on everything else, right? Because now you're not knocking down the 3-point shots. Now teams don't have to adjust their defense. Now Zach LaVine can't cut into the bucket as easily. Now there's 3 dudes guarding Vooch. Now there's 3 dudes guarding DeMar DeRozan because there's extra dudes on the wings that are playing in the middle, which they planned on being there anyway. If you start you've seen the games where the Bulls have won, where they start knocking down those shots and the bench points are up, and usually it's because of the 3 ball, because those are the shots they're giving them. All of a sudden it's like, oh snap, hey, the lanes are open. Oh, it's easy to get a bucket down here now. Like it just makes the game so much easier when you take away one complete component of the offensive side of the ball. It's going to make everything else harder. It's going to condense everything else, and I think that's what we're seeing happen to the Bulls in the second half of the season during this losing stretch.
The cold shooting has been alarming because a lot of and I know we've talked about Kobe, and I know some people took issue with us pointing out just Kobe, but the team is cold from 3-point corner right now. And so while Kobe, yes, is missing a lot of wide open shots, there are other players missing wide open shots as well. So it's difficult to point out how something can fix when they're wide open shots. There's so many of them, right? Because if they weren't open, you could think, hey, do some things to get players open, get them a higher chance to do it. Like, I don't. And there's no like one thing that you can say, hey, Kobe, shoot the ball better. Alex, shoot the ball better, right? Patrick Williams, who's shooting the ball highly efficiently in not taking many shots, but he's shooting the ball efficiently, especially over the last 3 games. Get Patrick Williams more corner threes. You can say all of this, but the fact that it's the open shots, the amount that this team has been getting, it worries me more. It makes me more concerned with how they can fix that type of thing. Now, that doesn't mean that, hey, we've seen it. This is NBA. If you've been watching the NBA a long time, you know that teams can go cold, players can go cold, and literally one game and then boom, they're back on track for the rest of the season, right? We can see the Bulls maybe not even get back hot from 3-point shooting the rest of the regular season, and something click in the postseason, and then the whole series they're locked down, they can't miss. So it could very well switch game to game. It's one game that it could switch. I know the defense is an issue too. I don't want to take away from the issue that we have on defense. I don't want to take the issue that we have from ISO ball and the lack of ball movement at certain times. All those things are very valid, very true, and things that also need to be pointed out as well. But when you miss open shots, or you've fallen so far from first to the bottom half of the league, something needs to change there. And I hope that they're looking at that, whether they need to get more creative in how they're getting the shots, or what it is, or who's taking the 3-point shots, whatever it is. I hope that they can figure it out, because that is a key part of today's basketball. Today's NBA, the 3 ball is highly important, probably more important than any other time period or era in the NBA. 3-point ball needs to be had, especially when you have a player like DeMar who feasts mainly in the mid-range, and you have Vooch, who has not been shooting the 3 effectively, which means that we need to feed him down low. You make things easier in those players by being able to knock shots down around them, and when teams blitz DeMar, when they blitz Zach, hit those open shots. It's easy to say, right? Especially us sitting here analyzing things, but I hope that they can figure it out. I really do, because I think that would really change the dynamic of how we're guarded, if nothing else.
And unfortunately, right, in this season, it's on the shoulders of guys like Zach LaVine and Kobe White, who are the 3-point specialists on this team. Your playoff trajectory changes immensely if all of a sudden Kobe White gets in a series versus Philly and can knock down shots. I don't care how good your defense is. If you don't knock down baskets, you won't win. Yeah. And we're seeing the Bulls leave games with percentages in the 20s from behind the arc. We're seeing the Bulls leave games with percentages in the 30s from the field in general. And that's putting you in a bad position off rip. Now you have to play 90s Jordan level defense to be even in a game. And let me tell you something. You ain't got that on this team right now. Like maybe beginning of, but right now, you don't have that level of defense on this team. So you're forced to make shots. And it's weird because like we've said many a times, the team was built for defense. So not playing it well. And now you don't have anybody else that can make a shot. And the guys that can make a shot are missing the open ones. So you have a culmination of things all happening at once. Now, I think the fix this season, you just have to hope Kobe finds his stroke again. Listen, with shooters, it could be one game that he catches fire and you see him make the next 10, 11 games on fire. Next season, you're talking about probably having to bring in more offense. You're going to have to bring in more shooters in that sense. Maybe Marko Simonovic finally can get on the court and play basketball. We'll see. Now, they be bringing Marko back for him to have the best seats in the house. That is the only reason.
But you know what? Honestly, they may be bringing Marko back so that he, I don't know, can travel with the team and take in playoff atmosphere. I
think that too. But like he's come back to the team how many times this season, and we're just like, hey, great seats.
I'm more surprised they didn't bring Tyler Cook back, considering especially that we're playing Milwaukee and Tyler Cook's best game came against
He
Milwaukee.
actually did decent against Milwaukee. So. Now, listen, we also had him for the next game against Milwaukee. It didn't go the same way. Yeah, I'm there. Hey, man, before we get into this final segment where we break down why this isn't a failed year by the Chicago Bulls, even though many Bulls fans do feel that it is, we want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless and seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Odyssey a LX or an EX? And wait for the person behind the counter to order parts on their computer, choosing the only brand that their warehouse happens to carry, when you have access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Listen, at rockauto.com, you're saving time and money. Why choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more for some of the same parts from chain stores or car dealerships? Rock Auto is a family-owned business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and they have everything you could need, from brake parts, tail lights, motor oil, and even new carpet. Sometimes you got to reupholster that thing, man. Don't worry about it. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto part needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right in their description, locked on the how did you hear about us section, so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com.
There you go. There you have it. So the Bulls fandom is such a weird place, bro. Like, after the Clippers win, people were the Bulls are back. We're going to beat such and such. We can do this. We can do that. You lose a game against Miami, and now we're back. Hey, this team is back in play. Hey, they're going to get swept in the first round. Hey, none of this even matters. Why did AK and Eversley suck? Billy Donovan needs to get out of here. Kobe needs to be traded. All of those things. I want to talk about it, and the reason why I put this on here is leading into the last half of the season. I do want to seriously talk about this. No matter what happens, this season was not a failed season. The purpose of the season going in, people forget that this team was never built to be a championship team. It was not meant to be. I get it. They set some amazing expectations how they played early on.
Yep.
And that's great, right? It opened some eyes. It showed that AK and Eversley can build a team, all that stuff. Zach LaVine, more than likely, is going to be here for a long time. All that conversation has gone away. Got a steal in IO, right? In the draft. Got a steal in IO. And at the end of the day, this season was always meant to be a palate cleanser season in a while. Go from the losing ways that we had before to be a surefire playoff team, and that gives you a better foundation to build on top of. I get it. It sucks that how good this team played and how things worked out down the stretch. It does. Nobody can take away from that. It sucks that this team on paper right now looks like they're probably going to be a first round exit. All that does suck, right? Because we want to see better for our team. But I think sometimes we need to keep it in perspective that championship teams are rarely built in one season. It rarely happens. And the foundation that this team has now, no matter how you look at it, what you think about Vooch, what you think about Kobe, what you think about DeMar and Isoball, what you think about any of that, the foundation and the bones that are now built and established on this team are way better than anything we've had in years. So I say this, and I'm presenting this to you, Pat. I pleaded my case. No matter what happens this season, what feeling do you think you'll walk away from it with?
I feel good, because I remember, right? See, y'all, there's a lot of people that you're back. Welcome back, by the way. Glad to have you here. See Red Nation, stand up. But you're back, right? When's the last time y'all watched? Derek, Jimmy? Maybe you made it to Jimmy. Maybe you made it to the 3 Alphas. Maybe, right? But if that's the last time you watch, you don't understand what the last 5 years has been like. So let us fill you in. Awful. When you are the worst team in basketball and your team continues to not pick the right player to turn your franchise around, and it gives you false hope for maybe a season because they pick players that are pretty maybe as a rookie, right? They show you those role player numbers. Oh, snap, Kobe White had 3 30-point games, 3 games in a row. Lauri Markkanen had player of the month. Nico Mirotic, absolutely Nico was a little bit before. But you know what I'm saying? Like picking those guys. Wendell Carter, blocking shots rookie year. This is what I love to see. When you have hope, and you still win 17 games. When you have Jim Boylan looking you in the face and making you feel like you actually know more basketball than him. That's what the last 5 years has been. So winning is good. And I implore y'all that did go through these last 5 years to relax. It's not a 1-year process. It is something that is going to take time. I understand that DeMar DeRozan is older. Maybe he's not going to be able to keep this production level up for the next 4 years. Hopefully Zach LaVine takes over the mantle. But here's the thing that I do know and that I've learned from this. Getting rid of talent doesn't make you better. Getting rid of the Chicago Bulls or getting rid of Jimmy Butler did not make the Chicago Bulls better. You need talent on your team to win. You now have talent. It took how long for that talent to develop? And realistically, all the talent you got one piece out of. He's a really good piece. Let's hold on to him. This is not, oh my God, we can't do it. We're mediocre. We're in the middle. We have to rebuild. Shut up. Because that is stupid. That is
You said it, I didn't, brother. You said it, I didn't.
Bro, whatever. Fight me. That is stupid. Do y'all understand where we've been? Do you understand what a rebuild gets you? Absolutely nothing. Listen, the process is still in a process, and they've gotten rid of half of the people that were a part of the process.
This is true.
We're in a position where we are in the playoffs, and we are in a top 5 spot 1 year after we were 11th. 11th. And that year, we had hope for the playoffs. You want to know where we were the year before that? I don't even remember. It wasn't high. We had 21 wins. So enjoy where y'all realize we had 10 more wins last year than the last year of Boylan, right? Like, enjoy where we are now. AK's been here 2 years, and he has gained 10 wins his first season and 12 his second in every year. What might next year bring? It's a process. This is how you build a team. I understand y'all do it on 2K, but that's not how real life works. Go outside.
Listen, that was just a sermon. That was just a sermon. Like, people think, and it's amazing how many fans think it's as simple as it is in 2K. Like, you hear trade ideas like, yeah, just trade Vooch for Ayton. The contracts work. In what world? In what world?
Hey, that don't work in 2K unless you got force trades on. Some of y'all capping out here.
Like, and or the whole thing like, oh, well, clearly the Suns don't want to give Ayton any money, so we can just get him for anything. That's not how the real world works.
Nah.
It's not. Right? And everything always looks greener than when you get it in. There's not one player, unless their name is Giannis, Michael Jordan, or Jesus, that can come in and immediately make this team a championship team. There's not one. It's not going to happen.
I don't know. You throw Kevin Durant out here, you might make the same.
Okay, well, yeah. I did leave off Snakeskin KD, so I did leave KD off. So I apologize for that. KD also, being fair. Yeah, another one. Not really championship level, but we definitely get closer. Somehow, if we added Jason Tatum to this team, it definitely would help as well. But
okay, let's go.
But with that being said, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And then even for the people who are like, oh, well, we just need a forward who can come in, rebound, block shots, defend, and guard Giannis and Embiid. Do you not know if that was any player that can do all those things in the NBA, every single team would be after them. They would not be available.
He would also be an NBA champion.
So, come on, y'all. I understand this. The second half, since the All-Star break, it sucked. It's been terrible. Me and you have come on here after losses, and we've literally said, "Hey, man, that sucked," right? Like, with no words. I understand that, but let's keep in mind where we were and the fact that very few teams go from where we were to being a champion. It's usually a progression thing. There's usually, you go from not being a playoff team and some teams we skip the step because some teams go to maybe a fringe playoff team or a play-in team now that we have the play-in. We went from that to being the number 1 seed for a long time this season. So now we're the number 5 seed. We can go as low as the number 6 seed. We can seal our life without getting into a play-in with one more win or a Cleveland loss. Listen, that is the progression. That is how the NBA works. Don't come to me talking about a 3-year window because that's DeMar's contract. Because if you only think that this team only has a 3-year window, then again, stop playing armchair GM because you don't know how to build a team.
Hey,
period.
At least start building y'all teams on Hall of Fame mode, bro. Y'all out here building it on rookie, trying to act like y'all out here building dynasties.
like
with 4 trades on.
Stop it. Get over it, right? Let's be realists. It was never going to go that way. It wasn't. But now we have so much more that we can look forward to. There's so much less work that we have to do to get to where everybody wants to go now than last year. And way before. Do you not know if AK and Eversley wouldn't come in here, we wouldn't even be sniffing the playing team right now. They wouldn't have drafted Io. Well, maybe he's from Chicago. Paxson may have drafted Io.
No, they wouldn't have drafted him because they'd have sold the 2nd-round pick for cash considerations. Come on now. We using 2nd-round picks now. This is brand new. Right?
Yeah.
Come on now. Like
very true.
They're so it's so funny to me, bro, because it's just like you have to look at what this team has really accomplished in 2 years. And I am proud of the Chicago Bulls. Did they fall? Have the second half of the season been bad? Yeah. But listen, you got to fall before you rise, baby. You got to fall before you rise. We fell down. We skinned our knee. Now, listen, if we keep falling, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But right now, we on the fall part. Let's see if we can rise up out of it. And I guarantee you, listen, don't let this going to be the funny part, right? I know all of y'all. I be in the live chat with y'all. I know everybody that be in there. Don't let the Bulls find a way to take a playoff series to 7. Next year it's gonna be championship number 7 on the way. Mud's talking about like that's how the bounce back is gonna be. Oh, did you see how we did them? We took them to 7. We had them. This is just like when D Rose was here. Next year we was Eastern Conference Finals. We got a better. Come on, bro. Like we know how this is gonna go, bro. We know how this is gonna go. Stand on what y'all talking about. All of y'all that's saying good game by the 2nd quarter and it's done with the team by the half. Hey, listen, just remember that when we winning. And y'all like, man, I've been riding with this team since 98. Yeah, okay, it was some gaps in that.
And people forget too that even with the emergence of the best player for the history to play the game, it took us 6 years to win a title. And as talented as this team is, there's not one person that is sniffing the little bit of hair that Michael Jordan had on his head that's not even getting close to that. So it takes time, people.
You're going somewhere totally different with that. My boy, good save.
Oh no. This is locked on, bro. This locked on. Had this been Chicago Bulls Central, I may have went where you thought I was going to go. But I'm just saying, like, let's just keep all that in perspective, right? Yeah. Let's take another look at one of the overall through the emergence of another greatest player, not Jordan's level, but let's look at LeBron. It took LeBron to have to go with 2 other Hall of Famers before he won his first time.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, people. It was never going to happen in one season. I'm sorry that you guys, we live in such a microwave society. Everybody wants to see. That's why people have no patience with P. Will development. That's why, like, we live in a microwave society. But it's not real life. Take it. Enjoy the ride. Listen, there's going to be times where we look back at this season and we think, hey, man, it was crazy. We were thinking that was it, right? Now look at where we are. 2 years later, look at where we are. Come on, man. Come on. That's it.
That's all I got to say on it, dog. I ain't got nothing else for you.
Marvin's listening to this episode. Marvin, the motivator, is listening to this episode. Like, yeah, he's just shaking his head like, those my boys. Those my boys.
I'd be out there trying to talk everybody off a ledge.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. But that's it, Pat. Go ahead and give the social media, man. Unless you got anything else, let's get up out of here.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer, PATTHEDESIGNER. Yes, I did go to public school, but they taught me how to spell. Also, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. The IG and the Twitter is busting right now.
Absolutely. You can follow me at CEO Haize. That's CEO Haize. If you want to follow me and all my craziness on social media, I don't know why you would, but you know what? I'm glad that so many of you do, if I'm just being honest with you. And thank you for making us your first listen today. Now, for your second listen, go listen to Locked On NBA, where the Locked On experts covering the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday. In 30 minutes or less, you can see our very own Pat the Designer over on Locked On NBA on Wednesdays. So make sure you guys go and support Pat over there. But that is it. It's free wherever podcasts are available, or they're not sold, but you know what I mean by that. This has been another episode of Locked On Bulls, man. Love you guys. We out of here. Peace, y'all.